Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Rant and Chill. On this channel, I like to rant and I like to chill. Here, we're going to be kind of ranting a bit, I'm sure. Going to be kind of reacting and ranting at the same time. There's a situation regarding video games on YouTube that interests me, and I got this from a channel called RGT. I'm going to watch their video. I'm going to make some comments on it. And it does get me kind of heated because it's about YouTube policies and about YouTube essentially saying that if you play video games that are of a violent nature, that like you're not going to be able to do that on YouTube. Not for not for an audience you want, not for a decent audience. What I'm saying is, if you play games like Mortal Kombat or Grand Theft Auto or anything that's violent and has real life depictions of real life violence in it, granted it's a video game, it could be limited and even age restricted per the policies of YouTube, and it's being enforced, which means people are going to be streaming those games on like Twitch or somewhere else, and that's where people will flock to those other streaming services. They will do that if that's where they can find that content and they really want to see it. That's where they're going to go. But anyway, let's go into this. This does grind my gears. This is kind of a rant in a way. Let's pull this up. All right, so kick it off, RGT, and let's go.
A profession, or they do this as a...
Let me back up a little bit.
YouTube has just changed its policies for gaming channels that are going to screw over a lot of gaming channels. A lot of gaming channels that especially do this as a profession, or they do this as a side hustle, are going to be feeling the effects of this new policy change that YouTube has implemented. And the best part about this policy change is that it really says...
Oh, I'll add to that. Even for people who just do this as not of a side hustle, not even as a job, but just do it just for fun. Like if I sit around and I play a game that's just a little violent, maybe it's a lot violent, whatever. I want some people to see it, even if I'm just doing it just for fun, right? I don't want just 5 people to see it and it just be age restricted and no one else to be able to see it, because like it's so hard to get access to that video and it's not going to even be promoted. So even for that, even just playing around, for those that are not really interested in the hustle or making it into a job or a career or anything, I mean, they will not have any real incentive to do that. Because, yeah.
Say that they were changing the policy, you had to go out there and find the information on your own, or be in violation of the new policy, get hit, and then you think to yourself, well, why is this happening? Did something change? And then you go and find that information on your own. Imagine if you go to your boss and you're like, hey, Steve, I heard there's some new policy changes. Yeah, there sure is. Well, what are they? No, I can't really tell you. You got to find out that information on your own. So I'm laying in bed last night.
You know, when that does piss me off. Like, you're supposed to figure it out. You're supposed to know that there's some sort of change. It's like, okay, all right, okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Because he's right. In the workplace, they do tell you if there's gonna be a policy change or whatever. HR will have a meeting. It'll be really boring, drawn out. You wish you weren't there, but they will at least tell you. I mean, they tell you about the rules and policies. They give you the handbook. You may not read everything. They're not going to read everything to you. But it's there for you to access, you know? Anyway.
It's 1 in the morning. I get a notification on my phone at 1:07 a.m. I look at it, and it says that one of my videos has been age restricted. Now, this was a video that was from a while ago. I will zoom in here because I have nothing to hide from you people. Hi, RGT85. We reviewed your content and determined that it might not be suitable for viewers under the age of 18 per our community guidelines. As a result, we've age restricted the following content: the most insane Nintendo Switch ports worth playing.
Okay, I'll pause it right here. So the video is about the most insane Nintendo Switch ports worth playing. There is no way there's anything in that video that would be over that would be worth being age restricted. Okay. We're talking about the Nintendo Switch. We're talking about the most insane games for the Nintendo Switch. Can you think of any game that would, for the Nintendo Switch, that would be age restricted to like over the age of 18? You know what? Now I think about it, there are a few on the Switch. Actually, the Switch is pretty good for not censoring. games, which is kind of weird because it's Nintendo. Back in the day, they were very notorious for censoring, but now they seem to be the other way. But I could tell you, those games are few and far between, and I don't think it made it on that most insane list there. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I'm willing to bet he tried to make sure that, because the sort of game I was hinting at would be like something like a puzzle game where there's some like TNA stuff. You can find on the Switch. You have to like look for it. There's one particular that I'm thinking of. I can't think of the name right now. Mirror something. I don't. Mirror Quest or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, but I don't think that's what he's covering in the most insane Nintendo Switch ports worth playing. So right off the bat, it sounds silly. It's a collage of video games for the Nintendo Switch, games that are popular for the Nintendo Switch. None of those games are like going to be over 18. Come on.
We haven't applied a strike to your channel, and your content is still live for some viewers on YouTube. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is an old video. This video is from September of 2022, several months ago. The video is still doing well. It's still getting views. It's an evergreen video. It's something that people don't have to watch on day one. They can watch it whenever they want because the information in the video isn't going to change. It's not going to be anything different. So I thought to myself, okay, well, this clearly is a mistake. You know, there's no rhyme or reason for this. I got the notification on my phone, like I said, around 1:07 a.m. I didn't notice it till about 1.
He's good at checking his notifications because, like, I don't check anything until I get up, and I get up when I need to get up.
1:18, 1:19. So I went into my YouTube back studio thing and I applied for an appeal. At 1:22 a.m., roughly 3 minutes after I applied for the appeal, I ended up getting this email. We reviewed your appeal for the following. We reviewed your content.
No, they didn't. They didn't do that in 3 minutes. They did not do that. Flat out lie.
Carefully and confirmed that it violates our community guidelines. We know this is disappointing news, but it's...
That's another thing worth ranting about, how YouTube will freaking lie to you about that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we reviewed it. No, you didn't. No, you did not. Stop it.
Our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. Now, what's funny about that
is you're putting out misinformation there, YouTube. Misinformation. You didn't even look at it. You didn't even look at the video. He didn't look at it again. He didn't give it a second opinion.
Is you didn't review the content because this was a 15-minute long video. I believe it's 15:01. And in 3 minutes, you cannot review an entire video, especially if you're leading me to believe that this is a human that is checking this sort of thing, that there's a human that is watching this.
RGT, you fail to understand. They put it on double speed or triple speed. No, they probably put it on like a quad speed. Doubts they reviewed the video. They're like, yeah.
And determining whether or not my video is applicable for, you know, standard stuff, you know, 18 or older or not. 18 or older stuff is ridiculous because of the fact that most of the stuff that is 18 years or older, it shouldn't even be on YouTube in the first place because of the fact that you have to be 13 or older in order to have a YouTube account. So you're focusing in on a potential group of people with a 4 to 5 year span of age because you want to protect them. But I'm thinking to myself, there's no nudity. There's not excessive swearing in the video. It's simply showing video games. So I made it.
Just video games, guys. I mean, that's the problem here. YouTube is saying they don't want violent video games on this platform. The other day, I did a stream. Actually, last night I did a stream where I'm usually pretty good about not swearing now. I don't know if you noticed, but my videos, I don't really use profanity much, and there's a reason for that. In the streams, there's a reason for that. I think I said the S word. Oh my god, I sound like I'm in school. I did say the SHIT word. I think, but that was like an hour into a live stream, and usually by that point they don't really care. And that video was limited, and the only thing I talked about in that video was the game that I was playing, and I wasn't using anything obscene or anything like that. I think I made a comparison to one of the enemies looking like a flying butthole. Okay, that's not something to be limited by. I talked about Nemophila, talked about Bandmate, talked about Love Bites, talked about Japanese metal bands like I usually do. And then afterwards, I played Twisted Metal. But the game I played, well, before that was called Supplies, and that game is pretty graphic, I suppose. I mean, it's gory. It's like Doom. Okay. And there's a lot of bodies and carnage everywhere. So I think that's why. I think that's why it was limited.
Tweet about this. Before I got this email, I actually made a tweet to YouTube to sort of see what was going on with this, and I got the following. Hey Team YouTube, why did this video get hit with an age restriction months after it was up, and the appeal was denied 2 minutes after I requested it? It was roughly 2 to 3 minutes. It's video games. So they say they're going to look into it and get back to me, and here's what they said. Our policy team confirmed the age restriction was correct. We suggest reading through this article.
Oh, crap. They're like, oh, it's correct. Look at this. Oh, man. And now they're probably going to be looking at this channel and be like, you know what? You play a lot of games. You play a lot of those violent video games, you naughty boy. We're going to have to age restrict a lot of your videos now. Look at this. Look at this. It's like Team YouTube are now like the Republicans back in like in the 90s when they were like going after violent video games. We're like the murder simulators. All those kids are playing Grand Theft Auto. They're going to start stealing cars. All those kids are playing Call of Duty. It's a murder simulator. It's like those Call of Duty is played by millions of people. And like violent crime hasn't gone up like in the proportion of how many copies have sold and how many copies are being played. Now, violent crime has gone up, but it has nothing to do with Call of Duty or GTA. It has to do with other factors, other situations. You know? Oh, my God. You need to keep those murder simulators entertaining so that people don't go out and do stuff, if anything. Keep them complacent. Keep them happy. Keep them in their houses and when they play those murder simulators and those crime simulator games so they don't go out and do stuff in real life. But my point is like, YouTube now has regressed. YouTube now hates video games. YouTube hates violent video games. They sound like a freaking mom. They sound like a soccer mom that doesn't know. They sound like a politician in the 90s. Like, this is stupid. This is so stupid. But this is why, I go back and forth between YouTube and Twitch. And that's not good. That's not good for branding or building anything, And it's confusing. But it's like, well, I don't know. If I'm going to play any game that has blood in it, well, I guess I'm going to dust off my Twitch channel and play games there when I do. Because what's the alternative?
For more information on the violent or graphic content policies that led to this decision, appreciate your understanding of our need to make this tough call. Policies changes. What policy changes? You didn't send out an email to anyone. You didn't send out an email to anyone that makes content creation. You didn't put something on the front page of YouTube that says, hey, we're changing some policies of things going on in 2023. Here's the new information. Here's the new guidelines. And if a policy change was indeed happening and everyone knew about this,
they altered the deal, RGT, and you better pray they don't alter it any further. That's what's going on here. They can make the decisions. They're like, yeah, we changed it. And we're going to change it again on you.
Which, spoiler alert, nobody knew about this. Why would it include retroactive stuff? Why would it include stuff that was uploaded before the policy was instilled? That makes absolutely no sense. You want people to make content.
RGT, that's violent content. You're burning a dragon, dude. That clip right there is going to be age restricted. You're setting a dragon, imaginary animal creature, on fire.
Based on a policy that didn't exist at the time of their upload of the video. So you want people to predict the future. But then I come back full circle and I'm like, wait a second. This is video games. There's nothing controversial in here. I'm simply showing video games that are released at every major retailer in the world in this Switch Ports video. So what are the content changes that are so drastic that now we're going to have to make content based around certain guidelines that nobody knew existed before this? Because the only reason I knew it existed was because of the fact that I got hit with a claim. Let's see. Tips for monetizing gaming videos. This content can earn ad revenue. Infrequent usage of profanity. Oh, okay.
So you have to make sure the use of profanity is very, very limited. Extremely limited. Okay.
What determines infrequent?
And like the profanity can't be anything. Let's look at that. Words acceptable for network television such as, I don't even want to say that word, the D word, because I don't trust the policy. I gotta tell you, I have really watered down my language for YouTube videos and live streams. It's like I try now. My swearing is gonna be like that of like your kid. Oh dang! Oh shucks! Oh gee willikers! Things like that.
Quit. What determines any of this?
Infrequent would be like one use per 30 minutes. One use of the S word, maybe. Actually, it says acceptable words like hell. So you're allowed to say hell one time per 30 minutes. Is that what I'm getting here? Because it says infrequent use of profanity, such as when used a few times in a paragraph, not a focal subject of the video. Okay. Hateful slurs are not allowed. Okay.
Words abbreviated, censored, or acceptable for the network television. Hell and damn in the title, thumbnail, or video. I mean, network television has bitch and...
No, I gotta ask here. Ask here. So there's a paragraph here that says hateful slurs, like the N-word. Now, if you are a black content creator, I guess you are given a pass. You are given a pass, right? Like, you could say it and no one's gonna say anything. Now, if you are a white content creator, can you say saltine crackers? Okay, can you do that? If you are an Asian content creator, a Chinese content creator specifically, can you talk about the type of damage that happens to armor? Or like, there's a certain word that starts with a C, rhymes with dink. Can you say that word? Do you get a pass on that? If you're a Japanese content creator, can you say JAP? Can you say that? I mean, I'm kind of curious on this. You know, like how far do you go with? Oh yeah, you're given a pass. Anyway, it's just because it's like, oh, so there's an exception. Okay, there's an exception to the rules. Interesting.
Shit on it if you ever watched South Park in it. Certain things here, this content may earn no because you put a 1 is sort of the thing. Profanity used in the first 8 to 15 seconds of a video. Someone doing voiceover in a game where the F word is mentioned in the first 4 seconds of the game. So okay, adult content, because you know all this is you know based on someone's interpretation of it. Uses of sexual
now this happens to my channel quite a bit with the Men of Culture content. Yeah.
Folks, that's okay. Sensual dancing in a professional setting with limited clothing, classical art display. Like, what are you doing?
You can't even display classical art? Okay. All right.
Here. And then, of course, we have the normal sex stuff here, but here's the violent stuff.
Okay, this is what's going to apply. This would apply to him and would probably apply to the games I was playing last night. Let's see.
Graphic scenes such as a gory attack on a person outside of the first 15 seconds of a video is fine. Graphic violence in the thumbnail or in the first 8 to 15 seconds of a video.
Let's make this bigger. Let's read this here. Violence featuring non-graphic gameplay. Non-graphic gameplay includes graphic scenes, censoring clips of... Okay, so this is content that can earn ad revenue. Violence featuring non-graphic gameplay. Graphic scenes such as gory attack on a person is not allowed because we're talking about violence featuring non-graphic gameplay. So if the gameplay has any sort of graphic elements to it, like gore, then it can't earn revenue. In fact, this column here, this content may earn limited or no ad revenue. Graphic game violence in the thumbnail are in the first 11 to 15 seconds of the video. Graphic game violence includes brutal killings, severe injuries, focusing on bodily fluids. It's in this other column, questionnaire options and details. Graphic law enforcement, such as visible injuries, dead bodies, to do body and education documentary settings, such as history, graphic, game, video, and thumbnail, to do. Okay. So if the game you play has any sort of violence in it, it's not going to be allowed on YouTube.
Video. Graphic game violence includes brutal killings or severe injuries focusing on bodily fluids such as beheadings or dismemberments. No ad revenue here. Like here's the thing about all of this. It's all subject to interpretation here. But the crazy thing is, I could go on YouTube right now. Yesterday, I'm filming this on Tuesday. Last night during Monday Night Football, a player for the Buffalo Bills, his name escapes me right now, suffered a severe injury on the field. There are millions of videos up about people, speculating on what happened to him, this, that, or the other. All those videos are fine.
Oh, yeah. There's lots to speculate on that. Like other athletes just kind of like dropping, But yeah, I get where he's going with this on the, with this rant here. But it's like, okay, so YouTube's not really doing much about that. Oh no, those when they're talking about it. Well, I mean that's because lately it's the policy around talking about the the boosters and the vaccine and all that has lightened up a bit. That's because some information has been coming out that's like, maybe it wasn't really what we all thought it was. Maybe we were all duped in a way. And really, the real criminals are the pharmaceutical companies that manipulated us. And but that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other rant for another day. But I get it. He's annoyed by people could talk about that. He might find that to be a misinformation, but he can't play violent video games. I'd be like, well, I mean, now we're making this weird comparison. I'll just kind of focus on the violent video game thing and be like, it's cartoon violence, it's simulated. It's not even real. It's a video game characters. It's not harming anybody,
Real human stuff. That's real people getting, hurt and injured and potentially.
It's not motivating anybody to do this stuff in real life, and there's no evidence to suggest that.
Losing their life. And you can find that sort of content all over YouTube. You can find gruesome injuries from the NBA, from professional football, from all these different things, from wars and stuff like that. And that's all deemed okay, because for some reason, that's all right. But when it comes to video games, no, that's a problem. A fictional thing, a thing that doesn't actually exist, a thing that is for, people of a certain age.
Well, like, even if you cover the news, like what he's talking about, if you're like cover the news on YouTube, if you use graphic images, like you are going to get limited or age restricted. The only way you can get around that is if you censor it, or if you are a big outlet like CNN or Fox News or whatever, they could show that sort of content, and be okay and probably not get any penalty.
To enjoy. If parents can't control their kids going on YouTube and watching videos that they don't want them to use, then the parent seems to have a problem with that. If YouTube is designed for people ages 13 and older because of the fact that you're supposed to be 13 or older in order to sign up for a YouTube account, why are you pigeonholing on this 4-year demographic from 13 to 17 as the people, you can't look at this under 18. Oh, you can't look at this video game. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. And here's the problem.
I'm curious. I don't know this offhand. What is the... I'll take this off the screen real fast. I'm curious about something. I want to check here. Because, so the age-restricting violent video games, right? What is ESRP M rating? What is that? What age is for that? For 17 and older, okay. And then the T rating. 13 and older, okay. So any game that's rated T and older would be, and any footage from that game would be appropriate for I guess, that demographic that can get on YouTube, which would be 13 and older. He was playing Skyrim. What is Skyrim's ESRB? It's probably mature. Yeah, it's mature. So the way they're looking at this is probably like, well, that game is mature. It's super bloody. It's rated M, right? M for mature. So people who could watch it have to be 17 and older. Well, the problem is, and if you age restrict it, that it's 18 and older. Well, I guess they don't really care. I guess they want to make sure those are within the teen the teen age. like not be able to see that game because it's so graphic, so violent. This is what you get when you get a rating systems like this, and you get an authoritative, you get people that with authority, with an agenda to like, and they really hate violence in video games. They want to squash that stuff. They're concerned about it because for various reasons. This is what you get. So I'm not really surprised that they're doing this. It's a dumb decision because people are going to go to Twitch where you can have your tits out and stream as long as you're standing in a bathtub. I mean, on a pool or a kiddie pool, a kid pool in your apartment, which doesn't make any sense, but that works. You can have your tits out and stream. You could play all sorts of games there. You should be fine, right? Unless, are they having issues? Can you not stream M-rated games? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't streamed on Twitch in a minute, so let me know. But it's like if you have this sort of policy where you're going to limit games based on violence, I wonder if it's because of the ESRB rating. I wonder if it's because of that. I'm kind of curious because I have a funny feeling that it is. I have a funny feeling because it would just kind of like if you look at the games that get hit with age restriction or limited status. I wouldn't be surprised if they're also the same games that are like rated M. Another theory could be that in some areas, like China, violence is not allowed, and YouTube may want to try to appeal to that to them. But really, that doesn't matter. Because the version of YouTube that China gets isn't even like YouTube. It has to go through. I don't even think they get like a Chinese version of YouTube. It gets filtered by the government. It gets filtered by the great state. Lovely, very lovely. All right. So watch some more of this. It does enrage me.
Here's the problem, because it's going to affect people who cover video games that are deemed violent. Okay, like a Mortal Kombat or a Doom. Are we going back to 1993 here?
That's exactly what they're doing. YouTube's bringing back the 90s.
Where certain things are too taboo in the world of video games. What about Grand Theft Auto 5?
Grand Theft Auto 5, Grand Theft Auto 6? They're not going to find a place on YouTube.
Grand Theft Auto 6. What about Resident Evil 4 coming up? And it's absolutely ridiculous. And the other thing is, the companies behind these games, they need to be aware that you're going to lose a huge portion of your free marketing for these games on arguably the most popular platform in the world for video information and for.
That's an interesting thing he brings up. So it kind of puts in perspective, like, could the companies that produce those games, develop and produce those games, could they put pressure on Google to get them to change their mind, change their policy? We'll see. They could try to approach them and like that, or the market will help them change their minds. Because if you could still stream these types of games on, let's say, Twitch or other streaming alternatives, which I think he's going to bring up and be like, there's no money on those places, which, I mean, you can still make money on those at those places. You just have to bring your followers with you a little bit. But you could also, here's the other thing. If people want to see that content, they will go. They will follow you. Because what you're saying is, very clearly, is that YouTube is not going to okay this sort of content, right? YouTube across the board is going to be putting this content, is going to be taking measures to limit this content, right? So if people want to see it, they're going to go to a streaming service that doesn't do that. So if that be Twitch or DLive or whatever other streaming service, if you have to do Odyssey or I don't know, whatever, that didn't do that. And yeah, you might be like, well, there's not a lot of people there. There's not a lot of money there. Well, start it. There wasn't any money to be made on YouTube back in the day when it first started. Okay? There wasn't any money at all. Like like the whole thing. Oh, there's no money here. There's no money there. Like, we got to stop with that. We had to flat out stop with that. Like, there wasn't any money to be made on YouTube in the beginning at all. So you're going to have to make it. You're going to have to make it with this, because you just said, this whole video, and I'm following this here, and I get what he's saying, that YouTube is not allowing this content. YouTube is going to scrutinize this content, going to put it, put in limited status, age restricted, so where people we're going to have a hard time finding it. Okay. Then they're going to go to a place where they can find it. If they want to see Skyrim videos or whatever videos, GTA 5, GTA 6, whatever, especially if that's popular and it pops on D Live or Twitch or Odyssey or whatever, they're going to go there. They are going to go there and watch those videos. So YouTube is shooting themselves in the foot in this situation. So I don't think a company is going to approach YouTube and be like, hey, you need to change your policy on this. It'd be interesting if they did. What's probably going to happen is the market is going to help YouTube decide, help YouTube realize they made a mistake. And I hope that's what happens.
Individual content creation, because people aren't going to want to cover your games in fear of the fact that the big YouTube baddie is going to come along and totally negate all the work you've done. If you do this,
I'll pause you. That's what part where I disagree. People are still going to want to cover those games because they're popular games like GTA 6. Oh man, there's going to be all sorts of compilations. Probably still GTA 5 is still popular. They're going to find another home. They're going to have to find another home. People are still going to cover it. Now, people on YouTube may not cover it. You're right. People on YouTube are not going to cover it. They're going to cover something else. Maybe Among Us, but Among Us might be too violent. Minecraft might be okay-ish. You do kill animals. That might be considered violent. I don't know. But Among Us, there's dead bodies, there's blood, there's guns. It might be too violent.
Whenever you want to do it, I understand this policy probably doesn't mean all that much to you. But if you're someone who does this as a profession, it's very annoying. It's annoying to have to deal with policy changes when the policy changes aren't given to you on a silver platter, because they should be. You should want to, please your overlord so that you make some money, but you should still also want to have your individual content creation freedom. And I know people are going to say in the comments, well, go to Dailymotion, go to this website, go to that website and upload your video. There's no money in that stuff.
And that's where I stopped it before, right? I was like, well, it shouldn't really be about the money, about that. If I could already imagine his response. Well, I mean, the money's important, right? It's my livelihood. Okay, but my point is when YouTube first started, it wasn't even a livelihood. There was no chance. There was no ad revenue to be made. It was not even an option. So these other starting sites, you expect them to be on Google's level. You expect them to be on YouTube's level. They're not there yet. They're not. They may never be there, but they could work on getting there. They could work on getting up. A lot of the sites, a lot of those alternatives, they do have a way you can make money. I know that because I've seen content creators go over there and make money. Or you can ask your supporters to support you on Patreon or whatever. There's other ways you can continue to do it if you want to make that certain content and if you want to have that freedom. Like, if I was in your situation, I'm not really, because video games is not my, bread and butter. But TNA stuff I do quite a bit on this channel. That stuff I feel more comfortable doing, let's say, on Twitch, because I have more flexibility. Okay? I have no problem doing that. I have no problem streaming on multiple places. Well, I was going to say, though, if I want to play violent video games, and I do play violent video games on stream, I may have to use an alternative. So that's what I'm probably going to end up doing. I mean, Twitch you can make money on just fine. But even if Twitch had the policy like this, well, then it would be something else. It would be streaming on Odyssey or streaming on a Rumble or whatever. Or maybe when you can start streaming on Twitter, I'll just start streaming on Twitter directly. Because this is a dumb policy. What YouTube is doing is really stupid.
There's no, and I mean, that's just the honest truth about it. And really, this policy change for me isn't going to change much. I'm still going to cover the games I want to cover. I'm still going to talk about the things I want to talk about because I'm someone that makes daily content, at least for the most part. Sometimes you get 2 videos in a day. Sometimes I'll take a day or 2 off. But for the most part, I make daily content. So I'm always looking forward to the next video. If I make a video and it fails, doesn't do well, that's fine. I'm moving on to the next thing. If I make a video and for some reason YouTube deems it too violent, it's too violent for everyone to watch, whatever, you know, I'll move on to the next thing. I'll move on to whatever I'm working on next. But there's a lot of people that don't do that. There's a lot of people that upload, you know, once a week, you know, once every 2 weeks, or maybe a couple times a week or something like that. And they don't have that luxury of going on to the next thing. So a lot of these bigger channels that don't upload frequently, you know, they don't upload every single day. Now they're going to have to second guess whether or not to cover this game, because maybe they want to, but if they're afraid that YouTube and the
what they could do is put a community post, be like, all right, we can still cover this game, but we're moving over here. We're moving on this other place. We're going to have to, because it's not working on YouTube. You just keep on spamming the community posts like every day, daily. Hey, you want to see some GTA 5 stuff, GTA 6? You want to see some Halo stuff, Call of Duty stuff, Mortal Kombat stuff? Yeah, we're streaming on this other channel now. Follow us over there. And it's going to suck in a way because you're kind of back to, you're back to the drawing board as far as like marketing goes. You're back to like basics, but you're also not, because you kind of have an audience, kind of like it might be a small audience, maybe a medium-sized audience, but at least you have them, you know, and you might be able to get them to check you out on this other site and maybe kind of explain it. But you know what? My outlook on this is, if the game is really popular and people really want to see content of it, they will find you. They will find you. Okay? He mentioned GTA 5 and GTA 6. When GTA 6 comes out, people are going to be streaming that game. It's going to be too violent for YouTube. It's going to have real-life situations and not be allowed on YouTube. So whatever streaming site allows it to exist, it's a streaming site that will benefit from it. And a benefit they shall. And the market will help. Look at that. The market will help decide what happens. Well, this is my response. Not response. This is kind of my reaction to the RGT situation. It does suck. I do think YouTube is shooting themselves in the foot with this policy. I think it's really dumb. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts about this are. This is almost a 40-minute video. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments section, and you take it easy, man.